Hi, it's Elizabeth here, and I'm here with Pam and Rai, and we're down here at Takutai Beach, just south of Hokitika, and we're going to be making hats today. We're going to be making a hat like this. We're also going to be making a ball, well, a bit of a sausage-shaped ball like that, so that we can make our hat. Okay, so Pam and Rai, here is a hat kit each. You can
Thank you.
open those, and
Thank you.
you have a choice. You can make either a dark brown hat like this one or a light brown hat. So your kits currently have light brown hat bases, but I've got two dark brown ones in case you want to make a dark brown.
A light one.
I like. Yeah, I'm easy whichever. I'm happy to make the kit.
Okay. So in your kit there is a bag of wool which was gifted to me by a lady here in Hokitika from her sheep, and then this piece of pre-felt is going to be wrapped around this wool to make the hat form. I usually call it a ball, even though it doesn't look like a ball. So that's what we're going to make first. It will take us about 20 minutes to make that, and when we're finished making that, we're going to start making our hat. So this part here with the clothes peg, that's the beginnings of your hat. So I forgot to say, in your kit you've got two needle felting tools. So this one is a single needle felter. This just got one little needle felting needle, and I'll show you how to open those up in a few minutes. And this one's a triple one, so this goes 3 times as fast as that one, and you'll figure out which one you like to use best as we go along. Okay, so step 1 is to make our ball, and so we need to open our kits and take out the bag of wool and take out the pre-felt that's at the back of your kit, and then put everything else aside. Oh, and your needle felting tools, yep, and your triple felter, and then we'll put this other things aside. Yep. So we're going to lay out your pre-felt onto the table. And open it right up. And then open your bag of wool and put it in and dump it on the pre-felt. So this wool still has lanolin in it, so it has that nice sheepy smell. It's also got bits of vegetable matter, so you might find some bits of grasses or even sticks that you can pull out as you're going along. So what we're going to do now is pull the wool apart in your fingers. We want to fluff it up and pull out bits of grass and stuff like that. So we want to remove any sort of hard lumpy bits. You can just throw them out if they're too hard and lumpy.
Oh, it smells lovely.
Makes your hands feel nice and soft. And the purpose of it is to make a soft, squishy ball that doesn't have hard lumps in it.
Okay.
So if you think that your wool is fluffed up enough, I usually spend a good few minutes doing it. Okay, happy with your wool all fluffed up?
Yep.
Great. Alright, so now we're going to scrunch it up into a ball in the middle. Yeah. And then put one hand on top of it, and then get your other hand and yep, pull that end of the pre-felt up over. We want it quite tight. Yep. And move it all back so you can easily do it.
Tuck it in.
Yeah, you want to wrap that ball of wool up in the pre-felt. So, see what I'm doing? Can you put your hand there and then pull that over? Yep. Yep, that's the way. Over, over, over. So it doesn't matter if at this stage we're just aiming for the sausage roll look, and then without letting it undo, we want to get out your needle felting tool. So what you do is you pull this part out And then you turn that part around, lock that in there, and then, oh, please can you give me that other bit back? And then you slide that bit in there and you push it down really hard. Yep. Yep. And now just turn your sausage around and look for those bits there. Pull them, put some tension into the fibre, because when your fibre's got tension in it, it makes it stronger. So stretch it and then get your needle felting tool and go like this. And the fibres will get joined. And aim for the middle part, this part here, because we don't need to do the ends, because the ends are going to turn into, they're going to get folded in. Yep. So these needle felting tools have tiny barbs on them, which are very difficult to see because they're so small. And those barbs, when we put it into the fibre, they transport fibres from the top down into the bottom, and they get tangled up, and they don't, and all the fibres get tightened up, and that's amazing how it is so easy.
It's so easy, it's amazing.
Yeah. So when we're working with pre-felt, we should think of it not as a fabric but as a substance. This is a substance, and we're sculptures of the substance with our needle felting tool. Yep. Turn it around, do it a bit more. Are you ready for the next step? Okay, so now we're going to start doing the ends. So get your sausage and just sit it on one end, and we're going to work on this other end. So it's a bit awkward. I usually actually stick it between my knees.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Come forward.
Just put it right there, okay, and then squeeze it together, and then we are going to rip this pre-felt. So at this stage we don't need the needle felting tool. We're going to rip this into strips. You see that's a strip? We're going to rip it into strips all the way around.
Gotta get your muscles out, right?
So when you're working with felt, it's always best to rip it, not use scissors. So now we've got all your flaps done. So you're going to pull it over and tuck it. Tuck it right down. That's right. And then do the next one. And make sure you stretch it. Put lots of tension into it. Because remember, when you put tension into fibre, it makes it stronger. Rip off the extra bits and put them aside, because we'll end up using, that's absolutely fine. We'll end up using the leftovers to patch up any holes in your hat. Alright, so we want everything to be nice and tight, because when things are tight, they are strong. So I've pushed that down to make it firm, and now I'm going to stretch this across, and I'm going to tuck it right down the other side so there's no lumps. You see, I'm making sure it goes all the way down, and then go around, and any lumpy bits like that I can just take off. I'm going to make it nice and tight and go push that right down so there's no lumps around the side. That's getting a bit lumpy, so I'm just going to pull it off. Put that down there, and then bring that part across. So we want to avoid things like that. So if it begins to buckle up, you just rip it, and then you do it again. That'll be alright. See how tight that is? Now when we start to needle felt it, it sticks together. And it's got sort of internal pressure, by which I mean it's bouncy. It's not just soft and squishy. It's quite bouncy, and we want a firm surface. When we make our hat, we want it to be firm and bouncy. So let's say you finished one end and you're ready to do the other end. Then you get your hand and you push all that wool down inside it. And as you can see, I've given you far too much pre-felt. So we're going to chop off that bit right there, just by ripping it. Then we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to start to rip the pre-felt into strips. This is a really interesting stuff because it really is like a substance. It's not a fabric, it's a substance, and then I said that it's actually quite a lot like fascia, you know, in the human body. Our organs are wrapped up in fascia, and so if this sheep's wool represents an organ or a cavity, then the fascia wraps that cavity and keeps it tucked up. When you're working with felt, it may look as though it's a big mess, but as you work at it with your needle felting tool, it all merges and melds into itself and becomes a seamless single piece of felt. Yep, and it's 3 times as fast. Okay, great, the balls are all done, and now we are ready to build our hats on the balls. So this is what we're aiming to make. It's a Possum-Merino hat. We're going to be building it on the ball, and it's going to have a part that you just roll up like that to make a beanie, super soft. So this is your hat, so open it up and have a look for the part that folds up. Do you see how it's got an edge that's folded up? So that part is going to be on the inside of the brim of your hat.
Your forehead right on it?
Yep, around your head and nice and tight, and make sure it comes right down at the back, because you want to imagine wearing your hat right down over your ears and down the back of your head.
Does that look right on that side?
Yes.
And at the back?
Yep.
And are we tucking it in each other? Overlapping?
Yes, you overlap.
Look like
and
a
then
king
you
now.
use your clothes peg to secure it in place. Now, when you do this, it has to be super tight around your head. And the reason for that is that when we needle felt your hat, it's going to loosen and expand.
Clip it on now?
Yeah. Okay. Is that alright? I want my hat to be 2 layers. I don't want it to be 3, I want it to be 2. So you see in here, there's 2 layers on that side, and that bit there, that means we need to bring this around here, and then we need to rip that bit off. You see? Because that will make 2 layers.
Okay.
So we've pulled off that extra bit, so now the inside of our hat is 2 layers. You can move the clothes peg to just the best position, and now the next thing is to get your ball and put it inside your hat. 2 layers right next to each other, so just adjust things, move them down so that your hat fits on the ball like that. You see?
Fabulous.
Needle felting tool, and be very precise. You want to join those 2 layers, so go slowly, take your time, and join that layer to that layer. Now it's also going to join to the ball, but that doesn't matter because what you do is you just put your fingers in there and separate it afterwards. So as you go around, then you start working upwards, joining the layers together.
So how do you make the felt?
Well, the felt is made of wool, which comes from my friend Heather, who lives in Kaikoura, and she runs Saxon Merino sheep, which is the finest of fine merino. And then it's 25% possum fibre, which comes from my friend Julian, who's in the North Island. He's got a network of trappers. So we took possum fibre and merino to Wild Earth Yarns in Christchurch, their fibre processing company, and they processed it into batting. So batting is like a very loose blanket of layers of fibre. So I received rolls of batting which I unwrap onto a big table, and then I peel off layers of the batting and I put it through my machine called a felt loom. And the felt loom has 800 needles like these, and they all go up and down, and it goes in one side as batting and it comes out the other side as pre-felt.
Wow.
And if I put it through a few times, it gets stronger and stronger each time I put it through. Alright, so we've gone right around the whole hat. Just before we go any further, we're going to put the fingers in under there and separate the hat from the ball. I'm just taking it off the ball, and we're going to turn it inside out and have a look and see how it looks from the inside. Okay,
Wow,
so
look
this
at that.
part here, let's just needle felt that before we go any further. So we'll pop the ball back inside, and we'll just concentrate on this edge
Awesome.
here. Yep.
The little edge bit, right? And so we're going to blend in the edge now.
Yep.
Okay.
We're blending in the edge. The hat is going to be completely seamless. So what we're doing today is just the beginnings of making your hat. You will have to keep on needle felting, maybe 10 times more than what you've done today, to join all the fibres tightly together to produce a strong felt hat like this. And we're going to pop it on here. Now, before we rip this, we're going to think to ourselves, do I want a hat which has a piece that folds up or not?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, so that means we need to fold it up right now so that we can accurately judge where to rip our hat to. Okay. So let's say that's on your head. So to do this, just take your time and think, alright, that's the top of my head in there, you see? Think, do I want my hat to look about there? Does that look about right?
Yes.
So then you think to yourself, okay, so I'm going to rip down to about that far all the way around. So don't be afraid, because we're dealing with felt. We're not wrecking your hat, we're making it. So we want to make strips about that big. Go nice and slowly. We want to make nice and neat and tidy strips, all the same size, so that when we fold it over and make the top of your hat, everything will be neat and tidy. fibre, and then you keep going through the bubble stage, and after the bubble stage it starts becoming into a proper felt. Slide out and do all the inside, and you keep going, keep going, keep going. Then you hold it up, you stick your face into it, and you look into the sun, and you look for holes. And then any hole, you think, oh, right there is very thin. So feel how thin it is there? So then you get some of your other fibre and patch it up. So things like this need loads and loads of needle felting.
Join it together.
Yes. So all we've done today is just the very beginnings of your hat. You have to keep going. You have to needle felt for days and days, and it will tighten up and it will produce a hat like this. But it fits you and it looks lovely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.